Yo, what's up? Welcome to CitrusLain. I'm your host, Jess. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Welcome to the show. Thank you for people that are watching and subscribing. I appreciate it. If you want to help do those things, otherwise, come watch creepy videos with me. I did get a request.
They could never make it work.
Though.
They didn't have the technology 500 years ago. The Vatican knew about it. They wanted it. And you go to the Vatican, you see paintings of like UFOs with aliens in them. And back when I used to believe in UFOs, but before I figured out that UFOs they want us to believe in UFOs.
So at first that seemed like he was going to start talking about people like hiding the existence of UFOs, and he kind of went hard left into UFOs aren't even real. They want us to believe in, they're trying to trick us. Which, I mean, big brain. No, I'm just kidding. That would be the best rug pull ever to a society, is just gaslight them into believing in aliens so much and then present them with fake aliens.
I think, honestly, the Vatican may not even know that they are sitting on documentation of real UFO interactions. Recently, Vatican officials have denied that they have UFO documentation inside their secret archives, and they insist that researchers drop the subject. Last year, David Grush, the whistleblower, said that the Vatican and the United States worked together to retrieve a UFO from Italy. A lot of researchers believe that the proof of this UFO interaction is in the secret archives at the Vatican. They have admitted openly that they have documentation of miracles, levitation, people seeing orbs, all kinds of stuff. They could be sitting on top of UFO proof and not even know it. Because maybe some of those miracles or those levitation moments were UFO interactions, and someone religious is going to categorize it as a religious experience. At the end of this article, which you can find on the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Vatican maintains that this is a futile and unproductive effort at the archives. If this isn't stopping researchers from requesting access to these archives, there's got to be something hidden in there for them to stay this secretive about them, to even change the name to take secret out so it wouldn't draw as much attention. The Vatican owns one of the world's largest telescopes on Mount Graham. It sits in a UFO hotspot. If anyone's going to know about UFOs or alien life out there, it's going to be the Vatican. Now, there is supposedly proof of the United States working with the Vatican to get this UFO out of Italy, and if you want to see that, just let me know. But
So what, the existing members just have absolutely no clue what's in the archives, like, and they're still keeping them secret? No, I don't believe that. No, they definitely have. We should definitely be given access to the archives at this point. That's just outrageous that there's this wealth of knowledge just kind of locked away, and the Vatican is the only one who can look at it. That's just especially in the age of information with the internet, like, no, we need it. We deserve to have it. It belongs to all of us. It's not just the parishioners and the bishops, and I already used that word. It's not just it doesn't just belong to the Catholics. It belongs to everyone.
Seriously, can anyone explain to me why the Pope has this symbol on his robes that is identical to a giant geoglyph of a humanoid-looking figure in the northern desert of Chile? Like, seriously, what is going on here? It's pretty common knowledge that the global elites know a lot more than they let us normies in on, but this is literally like waving it in front of our face. Like, what is this? Before anybody starts commenting saying this picture is fake or it's probably been altered or AI, no. This was posted 6 years ago in an article by The Guardian. Now, I had to scribble out a little bit of the title, but Catholic Church, children, I'm sure you can understand the context of this article. So unless The Guardian are posting pictures of the Pope with aliens on his robes for absolutely no reason and no relevance to their story, then I feel pretty comfortable in saying that this is a real image. So what kind of significance does it have to this? The Atacama Giant. This is one of the biggest geoglyphs in the world depicting a humanoid figure. It's believed to have been created between 1,000 and 1,400 years ago by ancient Incan cultures. It's over 100 meters tall, and it's on the Pope's robes. Why? Like, seriously. Like, let's move away from aliens and UFOs for a second, and just, can anybody actually tell me, why does the Pope have this on his robes? It is aliens.
Oh, okay. Oh, and ooh. That is very surprising. I mean, yeah, I agree with him that the elites definitely are in on a bunch of stuff that they don't let us normies in on, but I feel like I've said it in the past few videos, so I don't want to sound like uber redundant, but having gone to Catholic school, like, never ever heard about any connection between like that geoglyph, and which is a cool word that I'd never heard before, and that imagery on the Pope. Like, that's fascinating. It makes me want to... Here, I'm gonna pause the video for a minute. AI is already on it. I'm going to read this off as quickly as possible. Please bear with me. Geoglyph on papal robes. The image on the Pope's robes resembles the Atacama Giant, a massive 340-foot geoglyph located in the Atacama Desert of Chile. This prehistoric anthropomorphic figure is one of the largest in the world. The Atacama Giant geoglyph is not a Nazca line, despite initial confusion, but a distinct and fascinating example of ancient art. Symbolism and significance. The presence of this geoglyph on the Pope's robes could be interpreted in various ways, including connections to ancient astronaut theories and the ideas of extraterrestrial beings living covertly on Earth, representation of the Pope's role as a spiritual leader, bridging the gap between earthly and celestial realms, symbolism of the Atacama Giant's massive size, emphasizing the Pope's authority and responsibility, pallium and papal regalia. It's essential to note that the Pope's robes typically feature the pallium, a liturgical vestment worn over the chasuble. Oh, whoa, lots of words from my past. Bestowed by the Pope on archbishops and bishops as a symbol of their participation in papal authority. The pallium, and I feel like I'm saying it wrong, pallium, is a circular band of fabric with pendants and ornamentation fixed in place by golden pins symbolizing the nails of Christ's crucifixion. The combination of the pallium and the Atacama Giant geoglyph and Pope's robes may represent a unique blend of spiritual and symbolic significance, reflecting the Pope's role as a leader and his connection to the sacred and the mysterious. Okay, so that was interesting for sure. I do like that. I mean, as much as I love to go into conspiracy land with like, oh man, that has nothing to do with Catholicism. It must be a hint, like at the elites. I kind of lost what I was doing. Yeah, like it is more comforting to think like, oh hey, maybe he's just recognizing that he should use these other spiritual symbols. That is kind of cool. The chasuble originated as a sort of conical poncho. Atacama Giant on Pope's robes. Okay, so I found basically the same picture from Reddit. I found an article that describes the creation of the Pope's vestments used in his trip to Chile. Okay, it links to that article. Lo siento, esa web ya no existe. I feel like I'm butchering that. Okay, at least I got the lo siento correct. Which means I'm sorry. It all looks simple, but it's full of symbolism. There could have been a greater combination of colors, but each venue is represented by a single tone, said Jose Antonio Soler, supervisor of the workshop where the fabrics were made. The design has three elements. A petroglyph represents Equiqui? I don't know. In the north, a grapevine symbolizes Santiago in the central valleys, and the Mapuche cross is used for the south. The sandy color was used to denote the southern desert. Green represents the crops of the central valleys, while red denotes the bloodlining strength of the Mapuche people, he said. I feel like I mispronounced that as well. I'm sorry. So, what I do remember from Catholic school is that, like, the colors correspond to different themes, sure, but they also wear them at different times of year. But they could, I mean, if he was going somewhere, then I would imagine that sounds really cool that he, made special vestments to honor the locals. Within the symbols that the Pope is using, they try to represent the different cultures that live in Chile, so you can imagine how different they are from north to south. It is the same distance from Helsinki to Cairo. Wow. So symbols were chosen to represent Catholics from different cultures that coexist in Chile. They have the Southern Cross, the equivalent of the North Star in the Northern Hemisphere, the Catholic Cross that the Chilean Church use, the Giant of Atacama, a petroglyph that exists in the desert. That was going to be my next question. Was if this vestment was made to honor Chileans in their variety of similar but slightly different belief systems, or not belief system, but symbolism, then like the Atacama Giant is somewhere in Chile, right? And so yeah, it's in the desert. Nobody knows why it was built, but it is something that makes one feel proud. Okay, so he put it on there to honor Chileans. Dope.
So we have been digging into so many of the allegations that David Grush has made, and we had to dig into this too. We had to look into it. It's a wild allegation. Again, I get it. Catholic Church and UFOs. We've been trying to get reaction from the Vatican. We've been working behind the scenes, and joining me live steps from the Vatican right now is News Nation executive producer Susanna Pinto. She was previously a Rome-based reporter who has also worked in the Vatican press office. Thank you for being on with us tonight, Susie. I've got to ask you, you've been working on this for quite some time. You're in Rome. What have you been able to learn from Vatican officials about what David Grush had claimed to us in that interview?
Good evening, Brian. You can see St. Peter's Basilica behind me, perhaps the most iconic and powerful symbol of the Catholic Church around the world. And yes, as you said, this is a shocking claim. The fact that the allegation that the Vatican might have known about non-human intelligence on Earth. So I've reached out to the Vatican press office for comment. The Vatican has not responded. Now, that's not unusual. This is a highly controversial issue, and it's not unusual for the Vatican to not want to comment on such a controversy. Also, though, if there were credible information about life on another planet, life in another part of the universe, it would also bring up a lot of theological questions and a lot of debate. And so it's not surprising that the Vatican doesn't want to speculate on this issue right now.
I know you've been trying for at least the last week or so to get a response from the Vatican. Do you expect that something will come out eventually, or are they just saying, like, no comment, we are never going to talk about this?
Well, look, we do know that the archives pertaining to Pope Pius XII's pontificate have been open to scholars and historians. That happened in 2020. Pope Francis announced that he was going to open up the archives to historians and scholars. So that they have been looking into his pontificate. And of course, it was a long pontificate. He was Pope from 1939 to 1958. So far, there have been a couple of books that have come out from historians. They focus more on the Pope and World War II, but that's not to say that a historian or a scholar could continue to dig into those archives and find something. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes out, and that could take a long time because, like as I said, it was a long pontificate, and there's every Pope communicates with a lot of people. There's a lot of official communication with not only heads of states and presidents, but also different associations and parishes. So it'll take quite some time to go through all of that information.
Yeah, it's interesting that they are just now releasing within the last couple of years Pope Pius XII's official archive. I just think back to like a presidential archive, a presidential library where they have all the documents. Those are usually only documents for 8 years. Pope Pius XII was there.
So that's news. I didn't realize. Well, it sounded like at first that, okay, so they released, I heard archives, so I was like, yes, archives. They're giving people access to the archives. But then the more that I listened and tried my hardest with my smooth brain to pay attention, it sounded more like they were only talking about one specific pope's archives. And that's still cool, but it's not as meaningful as access to, like, what is its name? The Grand Archive? Is that like actually what it's called, or am I just like too much of a gamer? I don't know. But yeah, like, give us access to it. Do it now. And like, what do you mean it'll take? We have AI now. It shouldn't take that long. Just plug the transcript into AI, and have it spit back out just the important parts. I'm like rolling my eyes and like making negative facial movements because, man, kudos to you for taking that and repurposing it into a whole minute, and for giving us the shocking like facial feature. Yes, thank you for that. I know it's like the pot calling the kettle black because I'm reacting to stuff as well, but like, I don't know, something about that style of content is just so cringy to me for some reason. Okay, that was a sign. That was a sign to stray away from the political content. That was only for an Tell you what, the next time that I'll put political content on here will be in 4 years next election day. If the country's still around by then. Okay, I'll stop. I have to give the fittest flat earther his fair chance, right? I'm gonna stop it because that's dope. And wait, which way is it going? Yeah, that's dope. And I can do that too when I... It's like, hey, bud, I see you're pretty cool with your lighter tricks. I can do that too. I love how, like, my favorite way to open a Zippo, though, is like the... like, doing it on your leg. Like, snapping it is cool too, but like, just... People always get a kick out of it. Anyway...
Don't you think it's strange that fire doesn't hurt my eyes, but a flashlight does? I mean, we've all stared at fire. This is one of the biggest bonfires on record, and we've all looked at fireworks, and how come neither one of those seem to hurt our eyes? Yet when we look into the sun that is supposedly 93 million miles away, even though it's in these clouds, it definitely causes some eye irritation, causes you to squint and even look away. And I mean, they just tell us that the sun is a giant burning ball of fire, right? Well, this is what they...
I'm gonna stop it because it's a 3-minute video anyway. No. No! Science does not tell us that it is a big burning ball of fire. That is often what children think. The sun is a nuclear reaction. At least what we're told by the powers that be. It is a nuclear reaction where compounds are being fused together, and that energy, that expulsion of energy, is what we're seeing in the form of heat and light radiation. It's not burning, it's like radiating, and it is so, I mean, yeah, it's really far away, and yeah, it still hurts your eyes. That should just show you how bright it is. So if, like, let's say you were 100 miles from the sun, you probably couldn't even look at it. You probably couldn't even look at it without your eyes just completely whiting out. And not being able to repair them, like not being able to heal from that. Not like, oh, I looked at the sun a little too long and now I've got spots in my eyes. No, it would probably overload your cones and rods and fry the out of your eyes. I love conspiracy theories. I love, like, entertaining flat earthers when they try to make their points. The sun is not a burning ball of gas. It is a ball of nuclear reactions. Which, okay, sounds equally ridiculous, but, like, okay, we know fire can't exist in space. Plasma and nuclear reactions can. That was the word that I was missing. It's plasma. Like, it isn't, I mean, yes, it is nuclear reactions, but the form of matter being created, it is plasma. It's not liquid, it's not gas, it's not solid, it's plasma. And if I'm remembering right, or if I'm understanding this right, you can, like, when you see those sparks in your, or I'm sorry, not when you see those sparks, but you can make plasma in a microwave. Go YouTube it. Don't do it, but go YouTube it for educational purposes.
They tell us it looks like. This is their pictures. And this is mine with a solar filter on, zooming right on in. Does that look like a giant ball of fire to you?
It looks like a giant ball.
Because I want to show you something. I decided to do another little test with my solar filter, and I put it on while I had my iPhone light on and a blue hot burning flame and my Zippo lighter. And let's see how that turned out. Okay, set objects, and what's funny is you couldn't detect the fire, only the iPhone light right there. And what's also strange is when I took my iPhone light and shined it in this paperweight, it looked awfully familiar to me, like what I see in the sky every day. And when I literally compared it to the sun captured in my backyard and that iPhone light shining in that paperweight, so the sun appears to look exactly like my iPhone light in a paperweight, and it, like the light, is visible through a solar filter. And the sun, unlike fire, hurts my eyes just like a flashlight does. So maybe, just maybe, the Bible has it right when it says God made two great lights, a greater light and a lesser light, to rule the night. iPhone light, the sun in my backyard, and moonlight. Maybe they're all just lights and not burning balls of gas or dusty spaceball rocks 238,000 miles away. And by no means am I saying that they are giant iPhone lights, but you never know. There could be giants up there just holding a light down over the firmament. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. But I know what they're not. It's not a burning ball of gas 93 million miles away. It's just ridiculous if you still think that. And hopefully this video helped you see through the nonsense. But of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that I just don't have a good enough camera to capture this amazing footage. And that's definitely not just CGI. Nope, my camera's not good enough, and I know that the sun is a burning ball of gas 93 million miles away with all these solar ejections and flares. Entertainment only, people. I'm a satire account. I just am here to make you smile and laugh. Entertainment only. Also, just want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Vin in France. You are my man. Couldn't have done this one without you. Awesome work.
So I already interrupted and said part of what I wanted to say. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't convincing at all. You're showing me fire, which relative to different light sources doesn't really emit that much. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't emit hardly any light. Most of the energy coming off of fire is emitted in the form of heat. They could be, I don't know, man, there could be extra dimensional turtles moving the sun around the firmament. Like, we don't know. I mean, but we can try to figure it out, right? I mean, okay, maybe NASA fakes a bunch of stuff, and that probably was CGI because all the pictures and videos that they compile is data picked up on their sensors that they recompile into pictures and videos using Photoshop and CGI. So like it does kind of give you that sense of like, okay, then you didn't actually take a picture. You made a picture. It's not the same thing. But that said, like there are other smart people that have like done experiments. Wait, no, that's appeal to authority shit. You know, I can't honestly say one way or the other. I probably won't know for sure until either somebody gets to the bottom of this or I die and God or the Grim Reaper tells me straight up, like, oh yeah, dude, you've been living on a flat earth this whole time. You thought that was the sun? That was me, bro! And then just starts like flashing a light in your eyes. I mean, I don't agree with him at all. I do think the sun. I believe in our model of space. I think it goes a little. I think that there's a lot that like we don't yet understand about the nature of reality. I do on some level think God exists, just not in the form that we think of him in. Think of it in like it would have no gender. It would have no. It would be beyond that. No, I really liked, and I've had this thought for a long time, but like I think it was the last video where, I mean, like it almost seems like if there were gods here at one point, they're not here anymore. or they are here, but they're taking like a backseat role because we need to figure something out, and they can't help us with it. We got to figure it out on our own. I mean, like, something I always heard growing up is God helps those who helps themselves. So like, you can't sit and be like, you know, there are some people that I know personally that they have a bad relationship, for getting religious, that they have a bad relationship with God because they, you know, why didn't you do this for me? Why didn't you do that for me? And it's like, he's not supposed to sit there and grant all your wishes. He's not a genie. He's not Santa Claus. He created you so you could experience everything. Like, it just, yeah. But I do believe in our model of space, our current, like, that the sun is a ball of hydrogen undergoing chemical reaction 93 million miles away. Like, yeah, it's bright. And
so you think these guys are just doppelgangers? Huh. These guys
I love
too.
These.
Also them? Interesting. And these guys, Edward Norton and Sam Rockwell, just doppelgangers? And you're sure about
so
this,
weird,
right? Real sure.
I am.
Again,
well,
just
I'm not.
doppelgangers.
But no, that
Once
looks.
Kevin and his team sculpted all the details, they created another set of negatives and then poured silicone into those molds and sandwiched it all together. Silicone is necessary for perfectly mimicking the translucency and texture of skin. As you can see here, it also naturally wrinkles like old human skin would.
The color of the silicone is already intrinsically colored to be a flesh tone, and then you can see light through this if I could get that at the right angle.
Yep. It's got to be it. Doppelgangers. That's all it is. I don't know what I was thinking. And of course, this is all for entertainment purposes. I know that they're doppelgangers. Of course. Doppelgangers. Entertainment only.
But if you won't say it, I will. Benicio del Toro and Brad Pitt look too much alike. Either Brad Pitt is Benicio del Toro's son, or a clone that was like altered ever so slightly, or the less interesting, like, we only have so many facial features and they get repeated, so like, yeah, people end up seeming or looking similar, but like, oh man, I'm forgetting his name. Oh man, Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like, that's kind of a bad one. They look similar, but they don't look as similar as the picture right below that of Zach Braff and Jax. I don't remember his name. Something. He's married to Kristen Bell, if I remember right. But like, I mean, I get told, and I don't think it's. I mean, it might still be true, but like, I was always told growing up that I looked exactly like my uncle and my grandfather. And then I got a little bit older, and I still look a lot like my uncle. I can even see it. But I've gotten that I look similar to Keanu Reeves, which is flattering, but I don't see it. I've gotten that I look like Linus from Linus Tech Tips, which when I have like a goatee, I can kind of see it. I've gotten that I look like XQC. I got that when I was at when I worked at Freddy's a couple years ago. So I don't know, man. Like, it kind of just. It also depends on the person who is looking at you, like, how good are their eyes? Because, like, sometimes people will say, so-and-so looks exactly like so-and-so, and you're like, no, they don't. Do you need your eyes checked, bro? But, like, apparently, Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman looked so similar, if I'm thinking of the right people, looked so similar that I think it was Keira Knightley's mom got them confused. According to multiple sources, including interviews with Keira Knightley, their own mothers got them mixed up on the set of Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. Knightley, who played Sabe, one of Padme, I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry, nerds. I'm sorry. One of Padme Amidala's decoys and Natalie Portman, who played Amidala herself, wore elaborate costumes and makeup, making it difficult for even their mothers to distinguish between the two actresses. I don't want to just use his content as my own content. Like, that's not fair. I do really like his videos, and I'll keep playing them, but I don't want to just play a video after video after video of just his. And I also don't want it to seem like I'm picking on him. Because I'm definitely not. I like him. I think he's cool. And we can have different beliefs, even about the nature of reality. Like, it's not hurting anybody for him to view the world that way.
The Earth is flat, and here's why you might want to take a second look. Ever notice how all the big airline routes seem to skip over the North and South poles? For years we've heard that it's due to harsh conditions or special airspace restrictions. But what if there's more to the story? Let's take a look at why no one has flown around the world vertically, over both poles, in one seamless trip. It's stranger than you think. Most people see our maps, see the familiar routes from east to west, and think that's enough proof the Earth's a globe. After all, you can circle the globe ending up back where you started, right? But have you ever wondered why it's always east to west? Why don't planes do a full north to south route, passing right over the north and south poles? If it's a sphere, it should be possible. Yet oddly enough, it's never been done. Now here's the thing. It's not just the extreme weather at the poles that makes this route a no-go. The North Pole and Antarctica are surrounded by no-fly zones that practically no one can cross. These are heavily restricted areas where planes need special clearance, and the odds of getting it are slim to none. The truth is, pilots can't just choose to swing by the poles. These restrictions seem suspiciously tight. So why would these no-fly zones exist in the first place? Could it be that they're keeping us from seeing something hidden out there? If the Earth were flat, this east-to-west circumnavigation wouldn't be proof of a globe at all. Think of it like tracing a circle on a flat piece of paper. You can loop around, heading east to west, without ever curving around a ball. Imagine this. If the Earth were flat, with the North Pole at the center and Antarctica spread out around the edges, that would explain why all round the world travel is really just a loop around a central point. You could keep flying east or west and end up back where you started. So when people claim they've traveled around the globe, are they just looping on a flat plane? Here's where it gets even more intriguing. If the Earth is truly a sphere, wouldn't we expect to see north to south circumnavigation? Theoretically, pilots should be able to fly over the North Pole, swing down across the South Pole, and complete the journey in one go. But not a single documented case of this exists. Every attempt at a direct polar-to-polar circumnavigation has been blocked by those pesky no-fly zones. Now, check this out. The organization responsible for enforcing these restrictions? It's none other than the United Nations. And their logo? It's based on a flat Earth map, with the North Pole in the center surrounded by continents, and Antarctica around the outer edges. Coincidence? Or is there something they're keeping from us?
Yeah, but okay, let's say you're on a flat Earth, and you're, from a up-down perspective, it looks like you're doing this. Like, from your perspective, you're going straight forward, but from the up perspective, from the top-down perspective, it looks like you're doing this. How are you doing this? How are you turning if you are continuing to go straight? So, I mean, I just don't think that, I just don't believe in flat Earth, guys. I'm sorry. It just doesn't, no, there's, hold on, back up. I would imagine that the reason you don't see travel over the North Pole or over the South Pole is, yeah, the no-fly zones, sure. But I think it also has to do with it, where are they going to refuel on those trips? Like, my reasoning was going to be they don't have anywhere to refuel because of family that I have. Like, planes calculate how much fuel they need, and they take that amount of fuel, no more, no less. They take that amount because it has weight. And so they need to be able to calculate for how much weight they have, including the fuel, so they can't have more fuel than they need. So I would imagine that part of the reason is because let's say they did run out of fuel. There's nowhere to go. There's no civilization up there. It wouldn't be safe. I mean, let's say it was a little bit faster. It wouldn't be safe. But that's not as much fun as thinking, hey man, you ever notice that planes never fly over the South Pole? There's something they're hiding down there. As far as the South Pole is concerned, there is definitely something going on at Antarctica. Don't know what. Don't have that much info, but it does. It does seem like there is something at least buried under the ice. I don't want to go so far into being like, yeah, there's an alien base down there. Yeah, of course. No, I don't. I mean, that's like crazy town. But like the sonar blip with the big like that came from Antarctica like sometime last year, and the weather company had to take the site down and rebuild it and rebuild that tool because they couldn't explain why this very large anomalous wave was happening off the coast of Antarctica, or like originating a little bit north of Antarctica going to South Africa. Like something's definitely up down south. I don't know about up north, but something's up down south. Oh, real quick, something I forgot. Magnetism being a problem. Like for some reason I'm having the thought that their instruments would not work appropriately flying over the poles because of the generating of the the electromagnetic the magnetosphere. I couldn't think of the word for a second, but the magnetosphere.
The Earth is flat. The yin and yang is the sun and moon rotating around the magnetic North Pole. The North Pole is an electromagnetic field, and it's a pole of electromagnetic energy. Above the North Pole is Polaris, the all-seeing eye. Earth is a giant electromagnetic field, and you are an electromagnetic field. The plane of inertia is where we get the word planet Earth from. The atoms that create this reality are dualistic, positive and negative. This manifests into everything, good and bad, yin and yang, sun and moon, masculine, feminine. The sun positively charges you, gives you energy. The moon negatively charges you, takes away your energy, yin and yang. The moon governs the water on the earth and inside of your body, hence why all of the tides follow the moon. Earth rearranged is heart because it's the heart of the electromagnetic field, the middle point. This is why we have good and bad here, because it's the balance. This is why the Freemasons stand on the checkered board, good and evil. Quran 65:12, Allah, it is He who created the seven heavens. The seven heavens are the seven planets, the seven cosmic energies. The start of the solar system is the stars. The Wizard of Oz map has Emerald City in the center. This is symbolizing the center of the earth, where the emerald green aurora borealis comes out of. The stars with no light pollution create the arch, which is the sky god Nut in Egypt, which then got turned into the Masonic Royal Arch.
I mean, I definitely like the imagery of like the sun and moon being yin and yang going around the pole. That is really cool. But I liked how it was like very esoteric, and then all of a sudden it was, and the Wizard of Oz, the Emerald City. It's like, oh, okay. I even saw the Matrix on there, which, yeah, you could get Andrew Tate, we all live in the Matrix, whatever. But I'm curious what this book is. God, what book is this? I want to look at it. Man, that sound is annoying. I hate it. Anyway, I was like getting excited because I thought it was a different clip. I got into an argument with a friend of mine a few years ago because he was showing me this clip that was like kind of similar to that, but it wasn't that. and he's like trying to I didn't pick up on it at the time, but he was like very into flat earth, and he's just like, yeah, it's hitting the firmament, bro. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? No. And so I thought it was that clip, but it wasn't. Yeah, that one where it like, oh, I remember seeing it and people speculating that it was like, oh, those must be they broke through the firmament and those are the waters beyond the firmament. And like, I mean, the video itself is kind of bad. What did the rocket hit? I don't know. It doesn't look like it hit anything. It looks like it exploded. It looks like it exploded and all its fuel went everywhere. That's what it looks like. But I wasn't there. I don't know for sure.
Here's a guy, here's his horizontal eye zone. I drew a red line here, right? So that's his horizon, right? So now we have a top-down look, and here is his horizon. That is X number of mile, feet, whatever it does, I don't care. It's X distance away, right? So we can only see a certain distance before the sky and the ground merge. Flat Earth or glober, right? So this is, let's just say, we'll just call this 10 miles, just for a number, okay? Doesn't matter. What about these? Are these 10 miles or are these longer? You don't see longer. You see the same distance in all directions. These lines are longer by just geometry. This is how you see. You see in a circle. So when you take a picture of the ocean, you're seeing a curved horizon, but it's a flat curve. This is the same distance as this, as this, as this.
Okay, but your perception doesn't determine the shape of the planet or space that you exist in. It determines your perception of it, sure. But it doesn't determine okay, so I see his argument. But you are perceiving it curved, so that doesn't mean it's curved. It's actually flat. I get what he's saying, but I just don't think that's the right way to apply that for some reason. It doesn't sit well with me. Yeah, you see in not a circle, you don't see all the way around, but you see like my field of vision extends to, if I'm looking straight out, you know, like I can still see my hand over here, but I can't accurately discern distance from these portions. I don't know. I don't think that's a good argument for flat Earth at all. Yes, our perception changes everything. Everything is relative to the observer's perception. Yes.
Have you heard about the underwater anomaly that was larger than Texas that was spotted off the African coast a few days ago?
Yep.
There was a weather mapping system that caught a giant cluster of waves. These waves were allegedly 80 feet high and spanning over 2,000 miles and moved through the ocean. A lot of people were freaking out because this was a giant cluster of waves, but a lot of people are saying UFOs or even a Leviathan, but recently it got debunked. They added an update to the post about saying how it was a modeling error that has been corrected. And a lot of people were saying that if there were really waves out there that were that high in that large of an area, there would have been tons of ships that would have saw it. Of course, here's some people that were saying, you know, maybe it's aliens or even something related with the eclipse. But I 100% think it's a glitch that was in the system. Apparently there was another one a few years back that did the same thing. What are your thoughts about this giant wave anomaly that had everybody freaking out for a bit?
Yeah, sure. Ships would have seen it. Planes should have seen it. One of the comments that distracted me is that I can debunk this. My dog farted. Sorry, everyone. Boring answer. It probably was just a glitch, but like, it's so much more exciting to be like, no, it was a Leviathan waking up from under Antarctica and they're just trying to cover it up. For sure. No, it like, some people, I thought I saw some people speculating that it was like due to like some sort of testing that was like either nuclear testing or like the weather modification testing that, you know, everyone talks about and they have admitted is happening. Massive wave anomaly, and it's like it says height, but that's not what I remember it being.
Did a mysterious underwater object cause a giant wave anomaly off the coast of Africa?
Yes.
Social media is buzzing with reports of massive waves detected by weather systems near Africa on April 9th. These weren't your typical waves. They were reportedly 80 feet tall and covered an area larger than Texas. Speculation is rife, and theories range from sea monsters to aliens. But experts have stepped in to clear the air. Turns out, This wave anomaly was actually caused by a simple model error in a weather mapping system. Therefore, there's no need to panic about underwater UFOs or awakening krakens. Sometimes the most outlandish explanations aren't always the real ones, like this story. Follow me for more breakdowns of strange events and comment where you are watching from.
Likely story. Modeling error, my ass. Oh, come on, give me the good stuff. No coincidence, suspicious, yes! I found it, I found the video to confirm suspicious. That is, Okay, so it's showing the different wave progressions over the different days, and just that one, oh, it's so big, it's so big. 84, 84, 56, 64, and it like it covers like pretty much all of Africa. Yeah, Morgan Ray reveals, yes, good things, I screen recorded this. Ventusky has already removed the data. Why'd they remove it? No, leave it alone, we want to look at it.
Follow the anomaly, and in Baja California to the left, look at the radar and look at the patterns. Here's what you'll see. First of all, look in Mexico. That anomaly, that yellow-red anomaly, is throwing off that weather in the USA. Look at that line. That is what's happening. We are going to do this today on the live later. Look at this thing.
It looked like Tony Stark's arc reactor. No. It was supposed to be a palate cleanser, and now I'm about to cry. The pig laughing, oh my god, that was adorable. I didn't know pigs could laugh. What? Did anyone else know that? The elephant was my favorite. And the horse like flapping its tongue around, that was awesome too. Alright. That was the palate cleanser for today. I'm sorry there weren't as many clips and there was more of me talking, but you know, it is my channel, I do what I want. If you don't like it, get out of here, I'm sorry. Deal with it. Well, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Come back tomorrow. I do have one more video for the week. Episodes air Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. while I am still at work. But I do try to I try to respond to comments in a timely manner. And I do appreciate everybody with the liking and the subscribing and the, you know, it is crazy that it's not super big numbers, but it is crazy to me to go from, you know, I put out a few videos, I got 6 subs, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a schedule and do things how I want to do them, and every time I go to check it, it's more and more, and I'm just very humbled and flattered, and thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.